some interesting points too about maybe it wasn't the point you intended to raise, but I think there is a real lack of art criticism here. Okay, I mean, believe me, you know, I'm always surprised that, you know, when like, you know, City Beat, other places that write about art, The Reader, they run so few art reviews. Right. Everything is featurized. Mm-hmm. You know, it's about the personality of the artist. It's the Q&A. And I think there needs to be more art reviewing, period. Otherwise, a scene is not going to be as healthy as it should be. Now, when I started here, there were 3 newspapers. We know what's happened to newspapers, but there were 3 newspapers that could potentially review a show. There was the Tribune, which was separate from the Union, and then the LA Times had a San Diego County edition, which I think was a great situation for artists and for art. Obviously, you know, the LA Times decided they didn't want to do a San Diego County edition anymore, and then the Union Tribune merged into one paper. And it seems to me that the Reader has dropped the ball. All they do is review occasional museum shows. And City Beat surprises me because it seems like the kind of place where there would be art writing that's not just features but reviews, but it's never happened. So I just raised that as an issue. I think you need that to help further things.
Yeah. So let's jump
in.
Did I answer a question that you
Could I make a comment?
Yeah, yeah.
It ties in with what Robert said. He said, what you said about making
Is that
art.
God up there, or?
My God.
What I heard you say, and I may not have heard it right, but you were saying artists just concentrate on making good art, and it'll be okay. And
it'll follow.
Reviews,
I think that's criticism, everything will follow if you make good art.
Yeah.
Not this crap, like.
I asked myself the question in my world of high-tech industry. Was it enough to be the best technician to succeed? And it wasn't. It was. You have to be, but it's not sufficient. And what Robert is saying is relates to that as well. You not only have to be the best technician, you need to be seen as being the best. And that's where art criticism comes in. Not only do you have to make good art, you need to be seen as making good art. And the third thing is networking. Artists need to network with one another and collaborate. And this was true in my industry, and I think it's also true in Europe.
David wanted to say something.
Yeah, just kind of going back about the San Diego having an identity and between and being sort of between Tijuana and LA. I think there's in some way that there is almost like another border in San Diego that kind of never gets addressed, and this is kind of a soft border, and I think it roughly runs from the northwest corner of Balboa Park. You draw a line straight through the southeast corner, and that is from downtown, dividing off this neighborhood and a lot of the other neighborhoods in San Diego. And like I said, when I first moved here, in a lot of ways it seemed like those neighborhoods didn't even exist. It almost took me a while to even find out that there are neighborhoods. That it's not just downtown. That is sort of a I don't know, in some ways a small copy of LA, or you know, that there's more than just the border. I mean, there's this whole area that's very densely populated of like people that are from San Diego. There are native San Diegans, and there are people like trying to do interesting things, and a lot of it comes from that neighborhood. And I think if San Diego is going to get an identity, I think it's going to for itself. I mean, it's great to like collaborate with and you know, address the issues like the border and try and do things with people in LA and try and, you know, have a stream back and forth. But I think if San Diego is going to have an identity, I think it's going to come from those neighborhoods.
And speaking of those neighborhoods, it's very interesting that there's no collaboration. In fact, there's almost a hostility. If a museum in North County puts on a show, it's never going to travel to the south, even though there are people in South LA that will never go to North LA to see the show. But there's this idea that if you put on a show, it has to be originated at that museum, and we wouldn't put on anything that, if it's traveling, it's coming from outside of the area. But we have this incredible opportunity with all of our art commissions and our art, all of our city art councils to put on shows that just don't get shown there, but could circulate all the way around. They could go from Chula Vista to Rancho Bernardo to Vista to Carlsbad they could go on a rota system, if there was this collaboration and be seen. So you could then spend the time to really put on some good shows, knowing that would have a much bigger circuitry of venues that could see it.
Let's take this gentleman.
I think one of the answers, my name is Hamid Maliki, one of the answers to your statement is the Soho syndrome. Something Soho syndrome. And that's exactly what happened in this neighborhood. There was a street here full of galleries, and everything was moving into that street. And then suddenly chiropractors and I don't know, dog pet shops and so on and so forth replaced them. This is a typical thing all over the world. Soho, for the first time, when Soho was in the 60s the center of art in London, or the center of fashion and art and all these things, slowly became fashionable. And because it became fashionable, rich people moved in, and the artists were pushed out. So the fact that you cannot establish a specific area in a city that could grow in itself is due to that. It's an economic matter. It's not a matter of organization of artistic. Greenwich Village, same thing.